Welcome back to everyone who's watching Mama Gagasau TV. Again to be with me, Princess Medisha. And let's start with the news headlines. Boys have outperformed girls in advanced level examination, results released. Rwanda ranked the second in Africa on 2025 Good Governance Index. On the international scene, Russia and Putin holds unprecedented ties with China as talks begin. Let's take a short break to be back into the news details. Welcome back into the news details. On the start to news in Rwanda, where the Ministry of Education has released the results of the advanced level national examination, showing the boys have outperformed girls overall. Of the 106,000 candidates who registered, 106 sat for the exam, 89% achieved pass mark of the at least 50%. Among them, the pass rate for boys was 93.5% compared to 85.5% for girls. The announcement was made on September 1st, 2025, with officials noting that overall performance across all categories was encouraging. Minister of Education Joseph Nsengimana explained that the results were released earlier than in previous years to prevent students from losing valuable time. The ministry also recognized top-performing students in each field. In sciences, Arengerwe Merci Alliance from Cornerstone Leadership Academy, Rwamagana achieved the highest score of 96.06%. The district performance varied significantly. Kayonza led with 96.9% pass rate, followed by Kirehe at 95.6%, Rulindo at 94.4%, Ngoma at 93.8%, and Nyamasheke at 93.6%. On the other hand, Kamonyi recorded the lowest performance at 85%, while Nyarugenge scored 87.1%. Gatsibo, Rutsiro, Karons each registered pass rate at 88.6%. Turning to our next story, Rwanda has ranked second in Africa on the new released 2025 Gender Good Governance Index, coming just behind Mauritius and ahead of Botswana, Morocco, South Africa, and Tanzania. The index, which assesses the capability and effectiveness of governments across 120 countries worldwide, placed Mauritius at 51st globally, maintaining its position as Africa's top performer for the fifth year in a row, spreading from 36 in 2021. Rwanda folded 59th, while Botswana secured 61st place. Now let's turn our focus to this story, where Rwanda Revenue Authority has announced that it is well advanced in its preparation to see how the digital service tax could be corrected in 2026. The law imposing tax on informing technology services was announced in February 2025. These services include those originating from outside the country, such as those paying for Netflix, Amazon, and many others. The Deputy Commissioner for Taxation and Communication, Witonze, said they would do everything possible to ensure that the requirements for this tax to begin corrected in place, as reported by the New Times. In February 2024, a law was enacted imposing tourism tax on accommodation, which came in effect on July 1st, 2025. It provides the rate for this tax, 30% of the amount paid or to be paid for the accommodation, excluding the value-added tax. The tourism tax on accommodation, this law provides that it begins to be calculated on the day the payment for the accommodation is received. Rwanda Revenue Authority announced that after the tax collection began, taxpayers who behaved well after the requirements began collecting it on August 15, 2025. For those who do not comply with the law and want to avoid paying taxes, the leader said that they would work with various stakeholders to ensure those evade taxes are caught. Let's take a short break to be back into the international news.
Welcome to Alba Supply, where all the magic happens right here in Rwanda. We create clothes that are stylish and comfortable for both women and men. Look around. This is exactly where everything is made. From shirts to t-shirts, suits, trousers, you name it, whatever you need, we got you. Every stitch, every cut is made right here. Alba Supply is all about Rwandan creativity and quality, comfortable classy, and of course, proudly made in Rwanda.
Let's take a look onto the international news, where in 2022 the country selected the potato as a priority crop through the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, one of the country's priority product initiative, and this marked a bold step toward the food security, climate resilience, and economic growth. In other parts of the world, Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have kicked off the bilateral talks in Beijing on the eve of the Marseille military parade in the Chinese capacity. Kamikaze Gislen proceeds.
On the international news, let's start in Africa, where once a simple household staple, potato is now transforming agriculture in Lesotho. In 2022, the country adopted it as the priority crop under the UN Food and Agriculture Organization's One Country, One Priority Product initiative. This decision aimed to boost food security, build climate resilience, and drive economic growth. King Lacy III highlighted that potatoes are well suited to Lesotho's mountainous terrain and could power agricultural transformation. Farmers in high-altitude regions such as Semongkong are already seeing results. For a 27-year-old farmer, Marauta Mahao, potato cultivation has created jobs, generated income, and helped feed families. Pilot projects under the initiatives have achieved yield increases of up to 20%. The program is also drawing youth back into farming and creating opportunities for women. Agriculture Minister Thabo Mofosi noted that potato production stands at 9,000 tons annually with a target of 24,000 tons in 2 years. Turning to our next story, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese President Xi Jinping opened high-level talks in Beijing, praising their nations' deepening partnership. Putin described relations as being at an unprecedented level, while Xi said China-Russia's ties had withstood the test of international changes and called for building a more just global government system. The meeting comes ahead of China's largest ever military parade, marking the 80th anniversary of Japan's surrender in World War II, with North Korea's Kim Jong-un expected to attend. The talks also followed the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit in Tianjin, where Xi urged members to reject Cold War thinking and Putin called for alternatives to outdated Eurocentric models. Both leaders criticized the West, with Xi condemning bullying and Putin defending Russia's war in Ukraine. They are meeting alongside trilateral talks with Mongolia underscores a growing strategic partnership as Beijing positions itself as a global power aimed to strengthen U.S. ties. Concluding, Syria has exported its first crude oil shipment in 14 years, signaling a major step toward economic recovery after the end of its civil war. On Monday, 600,000 barrels of heavy crude were shipped from Tartus abroad. The tanker Nissos Christiana sold to trading firm B-Serve Energy, which is linked to global oil trader BB Energy. Before the war, Syria exported 3,800,000 barrels per day in 2010, but production collapsed during the conflict that began in 2011. Former President Bashar al-Assad was ousted in December 2024, and the new Islamist-led government has vowed to revive the economy. U.S. sanctions, which complicated energy trade, were lifted in June by President Donald Trump. Most Syrian oil fields are in Kurdish-held areas where relations with Damascus remain tense. Meanwhile, U.S. firms are preparing a master plan for exploration and extraction, and Syria has signed an $800 million port development deal with DP World. Kamikaze Gislen Mamargo, Agasawa TV.
As we come to the end of the news edition today, let's go back with the news headings. Boys have outperformed girls in advanced level examination results released. Rwanda ranked the second in Africa on the 2025 Good Governance Index. On the international scene, Russian Putin president has unprecedented ties with China as talks begin. Thanks for having me. Stay tuned.